Hey, this is your Timeout Tuesday for Tuesday, June 25th. And we wanted to come on here to hopefully encourage you and inspire you with the recent headlines about pastors and churches and some ministries that have come under attack. It grieves our hearts and it reminds us of the battle we face, right? I mean, we're in a battle. And so what did you want to share with those out there about specifically about this battle?
We need to put our armor on. Ephesians 6:10-11 says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." So Paul wrote to strengthen yourself in the Lord. There's two essential parts in this. You have to strengthen yourself in the Lord, and then you put your armor on. Because if you are to put a weak person in armor without taking a stand and being strengthened in the Lord, then you'll get run over by the enemy.
It's very important for us to take the stand, and that's what Paul said when he wrote to the church at Ephesus, when he was discussing with them about this battle that we're in, and when he was discussing with them about the armor of God. As she read, he said, "Finally be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God." And then he said, "so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." We have an enemy that is scheming against us. It's obvious that he's on the prowl, and he's had some success. He does win some battles, but he loses the war. And that just frustrates him even the more. It says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you've done everything, stand." And then he reminds them, stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows. And then he goes on to say, take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the saints. You know, in these last days, the attack on pastors and on churches is going to be more frequent, and it's going to be more intense. And the enemy's hitting hard right now and discouraging so many Christians and so many ministries. And so with that in mind, we need to be praying more diligently for one another and lifting each other up. Ministries are struggling because of all the negative publicity. But when we stand firm, when we put on that full armor of God and we become strengthened because of our walk with the Lord, you know, like she mentioned, you can't be a weak person and expect the armor to somehow save you. You've got to stand. You've got to have that relationship with the Lord. You've got to be strengthened by his Spirit, filled with his Spirit, and put on that armor of God to face this battle. It's tough out there. It is a war, and that's something that we need to be mindful of. So stay faithful, stay focused. God bless.